Yesterday was another day with severe weather across the country, and looking here at the storm reports from your Wednesday, May 22nd, we had wind all the way up here into New York State, all the way back down here into Texas, even 3 tornado reports. All of those tornado reports were in central Texas yesterday. So a very busy Wednesday it was. And looking here at the visible water vapor imagery this morning, we have ongoing storm clusters from portions of the Mid-South down into Texas as we go through the morning hours here. And we have another day with elevated severe weather chances across the plains, all the way up here to North Dakota, all the way south to Texas and east toward the I-95 corridor here in the eastern U.S. So a large area in risk for severe weather as we go through today. So make sure, if you are not a subscriber here to Weather on the Go, hit the subscribe button down below. We'll get the latest information to you right at your fingertips. Also, be sure to press the like button down below. It definitely helps out. So let's look here at the jet stream and look at what we're seeing this morning. We have a trough coming in across the Pacific Northwest. The left exit region of this trough, see where it's really strong in the jet stream? That's where we're going to enhance some of that wind shear across the northern and central plains this afternoon. And we have a southern branch as well with the subtropical jet further south. So that's going to help enhance the wind shear further south into Texas. But as we go into Friday, notice it weakens a bit, but it's still there across the Midwest. That means places like Chicago, St. Louis, into the Memphis region could be dealing with some severe weather as we go into tomorrow on your Friday, May 24th. So let's go back. Let's look at the severe weather for today. We have a level 3 out of 5 on the risk scale across Nebraska, northern Kansas, and southwestern Iowa, an extreme sliver of northwest Missouri. That is an enhanced risk with a large level 2 out of 5. Slight risk of severe weather from North Dakota all the way south to Texas into Arkansas, northern Louisiana, with that marginal risk level 1 out of 5 stretching into the Appalachians, in towards the East Coast, the I-95 corridor, all the way up to Caribou, Maine as we go through today. So let's look here at the probabilities of what the storms could bring to your area. We could be seeing some big hail again today. Hail has been a big deal this year. Texas knows that very well, and we have that, see a very big hail over 2 inches in diameter from the Dakotas south all the way to Texas today. That is some big hail. We could be seeing some very strong winds, hurricane force winds across Nebraska, northern Kansas into western Iowa and northwest Missouri as a mesoscale convective system starts to brew up later this evening and tonight. It could pose a risk for up to 80-mile-per-hour winds and some tornadoes as well. Notice the 2% and 5% shading for tornadoes in the green and brown area respectively, all the way up to the Dakotas, southern Minnesota, Iowa again, unfortunately, back into northwestern Missouri, back here into Texas, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, western Mississippi. You guys get it. We have a lot of areas in the risk for tornadoes. So let's look here at the timing this morning. Pretty quiet besides these storm clusters down here across the lower Mississippi Valley. Going into the afternoon, we're warming up the lower part of the atmosphere where we live, okay? So we're destabilizing the atmosphere. The sunshine is out. It's getting more active out there. And as we get into the evening hours, we're going to see a couple areas of storm initiation. We're going to have that main left exit region. Remember, the stronger part of our jet stream is up here to the Dakotas and Nebraska, as well as our low pressure system. A lot more lift up here. So we have a mesoscale convective system brewing up for South Dakota. Into Nebraska. This will begin to propagate east-southeastward through the Midwest and will bring the threat for 80-mile-per-hour winds overnight tonight, folks. This will be after dark. And then we have supercell thunderstorms, more discrete across the southern plains here. The capping inversion is going to hold on strong through the afternoon. These will likely fire early into the evening hours and posing a risk for big hail down here into the Elk City region, in towards Oklahoma City, Tulsa, back towards Pine Bluff, Arkansas, and then look at that mesoscale convective system racing across Nebraska into western Iowa there, Sioux Falls, all the way down to Omaha here early Friday morning after midnight. Could be seeing those 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Going into Friday, we have a slight risk of severe weather from Milwaukee, Chicago on the lakefront over here into southwestern lower Michigan, through the Indianapolis region, St. Louis, into Paducah, Kentucky, Memphis, Memphis, getting into Little Rock, all the way down through Texarkana and the Dallas-Fort Worth area as we go into Friday. Big risk for hail down here again. Yes, you know it well. Northeast Texas, southeastern Oklahoma, and southwestern Arkansas. Hail could be up to quarter size further north into the Midwest. 60, 70 mile per hour wind gusts possible, especially in the yellow shaded color across the Mississippi Valley there on Friday. And a couple tornadoes cannot be ruled out. I think Friday's tornado threat is much lower than a lot of the days we have been seeing. I would not be surprised if they upgraded to a 5% probability for tornadoes somewhere in the middle here in the mid-Mississippi Valley. But right now, just a broad-brushed 2% shading from Milwaukee, Chicago, St. Louis, Indianapolis, Paducah, Memphis, Nashville, all the way back here into Little Rock and the Texarkana region. So a big area there. Friday morning, you can see mesoscale convective system starting to weaken as it moves across Iowa toward Wisconsin and northwest Illinois, still posing a risk for wind, hail, and a couple isolated tornadoes on the leading edge. As we go through the afternoon, a bit of a reinvigorating area of thunderstorms as this starts to re-intensify. Moving across the Illinois Valley into the St. Louis, Chicago, Peoria, Illinois region, even Milwaukee up here, we could be seeing some additional chances for damaging winds. Friday evening, all of this shifts eastward toward the Ohio Valley, weakening, and then more supercells developing back here from Memphis, Little Rock, Texarkana to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Those could pose a risk for very big hail, over 2 inches in diameter. And looking here at the maximum updraft helicity through Friday night, this is giving you a general idea where the significant severe weather will be. Wherever you see a color here, that's where we could either see some big wind, some big hail, or even some tornadoes. And you can see very numerous up here into Nebraska and Iowa. That's with that mesoscale convective system, up to 80 mile per hour wind gusts. Big hail down here. Look at the bright colors in central Texas into Oklahoma, parts of Arkansas, western Tennessee. That's where we could have hailstones pretty big up there, 2 inches or larger in diameter. And then as we go into Saturday, now we are keeping tabs on a substantial severe weather outbreak for this upcoming Memorial Day weekend on Saturday. Very strong subtropical, but also polar jet converging down here into the southern plains on Saturday, and then we have a very diffluent jet stream on Sunday. So what this means is a severe weather outbreak, if not a flat-out tornado outbreak, as we go into this weekend. So Saturday here, enhanced risk, level 3 out of 5 from Kansas down into Oklahoma here into North Texas. This is from Wichita, Topeka area, all the way south through Oklahoma City, Tulsa, and as far south here as the northern suburbs of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. As we go into Sunday, that enhanced risk shifts further to the east. Places like Carbondale, Illinois, Cape Girardeau, over here to Paducah, the Evansville area, Louisville, all the way down to Nashville and Jackson, Tennessee, even the Jonesboro, Arkansas area. Look at the large area even outside of that. A slight risk all the way up towards Chicago, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, and Columbus, Ohio, all the way over here towards Knoxville, even the Tupelo area here, Florence, Alabama, into Little Rock. A large area there on Sunday for a slight risk, level 2 out of 5 for severe weather. And so far for Memorial Day, we don't have an outlooked area for severe weather. Hopefully we don't, because that is Memorial Day itself. So let's look here at the parameters for Saturday. A lot of instability, folks. There's no way hiding it. We have dew points creeping into the 70s across the central southern plains. Instability will be flat out unheard of. I mean, 5,000 joules per kilogram across Kansas, Oklahoma, North Texas. That will stretch eastward towards Missouri, western portions of Arkansas, northern portions of Louisiana. So that is widespread extreme instability. And looking at this Saturday afternoon, a little bit of a complex scenario. There's going to be a very strong capping inversion on the atmosphere. That's a warm layer aloft in the lower part of the atmosphere, and we have warm surface temperatures, so we have to break that cap. As we see the dry line move in, we could start to break that cap, and especially further north near the track of that low pressure system, I do think that we could have some very feisty supercells across Kansas Saturday evening, and then that will grow upscale into a loosely organized mesoscale convective system, pushing back into Iowa, back into Missouri as we go into early Sunday morning. And then going into Sunday, look at the large reservoir of instability. This is your Cape, convective available potential energy. Again, 5,000 plus joules per kilogram into Texas, into southeast Oklahoma, southwest Arkansas with 3,000 joules per kilogram all the way up there into the Tennessee, Ohio River Valley. Look at Sunday afternoon. We do this again. We have more severe weather, supercellular structures, line segments, Boeing segments here across those areas that'll tend to grow upscale Sunday evening with embedded tornadoes across the Ohio Valley, Tennessee Valley, And then that will have a tendency to shift further southeast into early Monday morning for your Memorial Day morning. And speaking of Memorial Day, here are your high temperatures across the country. Pretty hot down there across the south. So if you're near the Gulf Coast, southeast coast, southern Texas, it's going to be just hot, folks. So make sure to have the sunscreen handy if you are outdoors there for Memorial Day. Further north, not too shabby across the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes region, or the Northeast. Fairly decent temperatures for Memorial Day. 60s and 70s, cannot complain there. Looking at precipitation, 990 millibar low there in northeastern lower Michigan, entering into eastern Ontario, Canada, will bring a cold front with it across the northeast, and a pretty soggy Memorial Day, unfortunately, for the Poconos over there into Pennsylvania, for portions of the Delmarva, all the way up there into New England. Very wet conditions. A deformation rain band on the backside could be getting us wet here in Green Bay, maybe Madison, Wisconsin, maybe Milwaukee for a time early Monday morning. And then looking at the long range pattern as we end May, is it going to stay active? Well, it looks like the pattern is going to change, thankfully, as we get towards the 1st of June. You can see this goes through Saturday, June 1st, and you see a trough out here bringing cooler temperature anomalies to the east. A ridge begins to build out west. That's what we haven't seen in quite some time. Remember, we've had a ridge out east and a trough out west. Well, we flip those roles. We have a trough out east, we have a ridge out west as we go into late here into May, and that will bring a screeching halt to our active severe weather season here, at least for a time, as we go toward late May here and entering into at least the first day of June, with a little bit of above average precipitation in New England and the Northeast, and a little bit down here in the Southern Plains. We'll have to watch out for severe weather, but I do not think that we're going to see any outbreaks anytime soon after we get past Memorial Day itself. Well, make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. We'll keep you updated on the latest weather information right at your fingertips if you are subscribed to my channel. Make sure to give the video a like down below. Leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. We'll get to those later on today. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your Thursday out there.